Yeah, I remember whenever I left Christianity, I had all these people asking me, like, what do you believe now? Are you this denomination or this religion? What's your new theology? What's your new philosophy? You see, there needed to be some kind of label, some kind of box where people could put me in so that they could judge me. That's what it was all about, you see? That's what the egoic, dualistic mind looks for and desires. Names, categories, boxes, confined, rigid structures. Because then it can judge. It can say, okay, that person is this and they're not that. Or, they're saved. These people over here, they're a part of this religion. They believe in this. So they're saved. But those people who believe in other stuff, or they don't believe in anything or whatever, like they're lost, they're damned, they're in, they're out. You see, that's the game of the dualistic mind. But whenever I moved past my old beliefs and connections with the particular religion of Christianity that I was a part of, I didn't know how to answer that question. What are you? What do you mean, what am I? And what they meant was, what do you believe? What's your new religion? How do you see God? And I didn't know because I was going through all these different things. I was going through serious deconstruction of my previous faith, and then I was trying to make sense of everything. God, the universe, myself, others, the origin of this planet. Why are we here? Where did we come from? What's next? Where are we going? I'm trying to make sense of all these different things in my mind, in my own inner journey, and I'm dealing with people who are needing me to be in another box. And I said, look, you can't box me in. You can't put me into any particular category right now because I don't even know what I believe. For the first time in my life, I'm actually letting go of certainty. I'm letting go of dogma, and I'm embracing mystery. I'm embracing a spiritual roller coaster of the unknown, and I'm entering into this wilderness season. And yeah, it's scary. Yeah, it's far out. Yeah, it's unorthodox. But something's pulling me into this. And you might call it the devil, but I call it intuition. See? I call it this still small voice that I've been ignoring for the past 20 years because I've been told that I can only believe and accept what this person or this expert or this scholar or this pastor says is the truth. And I've been told that I can't trust myself. I've been told that there is some kind of inherent sinfulness within the depths of my being at my core. Therefore, I should never trust myself. I should never trust my heart. I was told that, my heart is wicked. It's what the scripture says. So don't ever do that. Trust us. Trust our interpretation of this holy book. Trust our rules and commandments, and you'll be fine. But yeah, now going back to when I was in this wilderness season, I was telling people, I said, hey, don't worry about me. I'll be fine. I know you don't believe that. I know you think that I'm going to hell now. I know you think that I'm going to lose my salvation, but I'm cool. There is this inner guidance. There's this resonance that I can't make sense of in my finite mind, but I know deep down in my heart that there's something to this, and I'm just going to leave it at that. And it felt rebellious, but rebellion is something that when you're on the spiritual journey, stepping into liberation can feel rebellious if you're coming from some kind of system of religious control or manipulation. That's why it feels rebellious, because it's completely opposite of what you just came out of. And again, you probably have people all around you who are saying all these things like, hey, that's dangerous, or if you keep going down that path, God's gonna forget about you, or you're gonna lose your salvation, or you're gonna be excluded from whatever. It's all scare tactics, and that's something that is something that I started to pick up on after my initial awakening. I noticed how one of the telltale signs of awakening is pattern recognition. And Mark Twain once said, history doesn't repeat itself, but it often rhymes. So when you become more conscious, when you experience this heightened state of awareness, you start to see these patterns and cycles and paradigms that have been rhyming throughout history. And you can go back and read history and see how, this is definitely something that has been in existence for a while. This is nothing new, nothing new. There's nothing new under the sun. So pattern recognition is big, and I started to recognize the pattern of demonizing those, or I'll say it like this, I recognize the pattern of the in-group demonizing those who were leaving the group, and all these scare tactics that were being thrown at the one who was going against the mainstream, going against the group, the in-group, going against orthodoxy, going against the commandments, the creeds, the doctrines, all the stuff. If you go back in history, you'll see that typically these people are called heretics. That's the popular name given to the one who's going against the agreed upon orthodoxy. We're right, you're wrong, us versus them, that whole mentality, that whole paradigm. And the heretic starts traveling their own path, and it looks different than the fundamentalist or the traditional way. They're blazing their own trail. And in the independence, in the walking your own path, that becomes offensive. That becomes something that triggers those who are in the in-group, who are controlled by a system, because those people aren't free. But the one that is breaking free from the confines of the system is free. The walking your own path in and of itself is the liberation. So the people that are in the quote-unquote in-group, who are part of the mainstream system, all they know to do is to come up with all these different scare tactics to try to bring the person who is wandering back in. And most of them are doing it from this belief that they're doing something good, that they're doing something that God would want them to do. They're operating from the level of consciousness that they know to operate from. And so, that it is what it is. But the judgment is really just projection. They're judging you because you're free and they're not. And your liberation, your freedom, reminds them of where they're still stuck, where they're still confined to the system. And it's subconscious, it's deep stuff. But that's how it works. So, one of the things I'm noticing now, from my own personal experience and from talking to many other people who have experienced similar things, is that there's a major collective shift that is happening right now in the consciousness of humanity, in the collective consciousness of humanity, okay? So things are happening, things are changing. The old way of doing things is coming to an end. Evolution is taking place. We're entering into this age of Aquarius. We're coming out of the age of Pisces. And in the age of Pisces, there was this focus and emphasis on structure and rules and especially in religion and spirituality, like obeying the external spiritual leaders, following someone else, following a tradition, following a religion, following a list of rules, following a book, external, 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 external. However, in this new age of Aquarius, it's different, you see. The age of Aquarius is about going within and discovering that God is not outside of you, and there is no mediators needed to experience God and your own divinity. And ultimately, separation is an illusion. That's one of the first things that you notice, you pick up on after you awaken. And with that, you see that there is no God in me. No, we are fundamentally one. We are all unique expressions of the one, of Source, just like all the different waves are unique expressions of the one ocean. All the different branches are unique expressions. They're manifesting, they're coming from the one, the tree, the root. Similar. That's the analogy that I've used with like the ocean to explain what we are and what this spiritual journey is all about. So, okay, Age of Aquarius. We're moving past believing in things and being able to be defined or confined based upon our beliefs, right? That's what we're stepping into. Beliefs are just kind of like, well, yeah, I'm past that. Why would I believe in God? Why would I believe in anything if I can directly experience it? See? So going within, you can have direct experiences of the one that is within you, that is you. And from that, there's this inner transformation. And once the inner transformation happens, you start to embody, you start to express, you start to let your divine light shine. But here's the thing, your unique expression of Source, of the divine, is not going to look like anyone else's, okay? All the waves, there's many waves, right? But they're unique. Unique expressions of the one. There is no separation. The waves aren't separate, but they're unique. That's authenticity. That's discovering that, okay, I have this intuitive heart, and it's leading me down this path, through this journey, that doesn't look like anyone else's. So you, the real you, beyond the ego, beyond the conditioning, beyond the programming, are a divine mystery. You are a divine mystery that totally transcends any kinds of constructs or belief structures, or are you this or are you that, the dualistic mind? Because now that we're getting into divinity and the one, we're shifting from duality into non-duality. This is where it gets mysterious. This is where we embrace the unknown. And yes, it's scary at first. Yes, there's uncertainty. Yes, there's judgment from those who are still asleep, living from the egoic dualistic mind, of course. But you're free. So you're not worried about them because, like I've talked about in a recent video, they can't judge you because, number one, they don't know you. Number two, their judgment is just projection. Like I said earlier, it's not really judgment because they don't know you. All they know is their perception of you. So really sit with that. Really embrace that. Be okay with it. Be okay with the fact that you are a divine mystery and not everyone is going to get you. That's a beautiful thing. That's something that makes life extraordinary. And what you'll notice is, as you start to let your unique light shine, there will be other souls, other beings that are drawn to your light, that resonate with your light, because there's some kind of commonality there. There's some kind of energetic connection. So there will be people in your life, there will be community, but it might not look like that for everyone, because some souls, they prefer to be alone. And that's kind of how I am. I like community to a degree. I like hanging out with certain souls, but damn, I love solitude. I love being alone. I love being in the woods, in nature. So that's my resonance. That's where I thrive. That's where I tap into deep intuition, creativity, divine insight. It's where I feel the most connected. But like I said, I'm not a hermit. I'm not a monk or anything. I do also have a heart for community, like I said. But my ground, where I'm recharged, is out here, being alone. And even with my community, even with my people, I don't have a ton of people in my life. I don't have a ton of friends. I don't have, it never sat well with me. I never had a resonance with that. And that's okay. Like I said, not everyone is wired, and not everyone's unique expression of the divine looks like being in these, big communities and having tons of friends and always needing to be talking to someone all the time. No, some people prefer silence. Some people prefer being alone, and they live more of these contemplative lifestyles. So that's part of self-discovery. That's part of going within, being real with yourself, being honest with yourself, and then being unapologetic about it. Not caring what other people think. Because why does it matter? It doesn't. It really doesn't. And that's one of the most liberating truths that can be realized, is their opinions, their thoughts, they don't matter. And it's just a revelation of where that person is at in their own projection and the inner work that they refuse to do. That's ultimately what projection is. Projection is the inner work that a person refuses to do within themselves. And they're just revealing that to everyone else around them. Hey, this is where I'm still stuck. I'm judging you. This is where I'm still stuck, you see? But yeah, you're beyond belief. Belief is something that, it's coming from the mind, and you are not your mind. It's a thought, but you are not your thoughts. You are the infinite, mysterious, divine awareness that simply is. And yes, you're experiencing this human experience through a finite mind, through a body mind, but you can be in the world but not of it. You can live through your ego, you can live through your human incarnation and not be attached to it. And you can allow Source, the divine energy, to flow through your unique form, your unique expression of the one, your authenticity, and that's where you're going to find the most fulfillment. That's where you're going to experience the most bliss in this human experience. And it's really important, what I'm saying is, it's really important that you discover that and that you let your light shine, because like other people, when they see you being you unapologetically, expressing and embodying liberation, that is what enables them. That's what gives them the courage to maybe break away from their system or their whatever that's been controlling and limiting them. You see? That sparks something within them to step out and to go against the mainstream and to take on their own path, their own journey of self-discovery, self-realization, awakening. So the expression of your unique light is your greatest blessing to the world around you. Ramana Maharshi said something like, your own self-realization is the greatest service you can render the world. So, yeah, that's what it is. But just know that this is not something to rush. It takes time. It takes patience. It takes a lot of self-compassion, because the ego is really going to try to distract you and get you to join the group and the hive mind mentality and just accept what everyone else believes. Yeah, no thanks. You say, yeah, no thanks. I'm tired of just having blind faith and doing what everyone else does because it's the one and only way. Bullshit. No. You are the way. Rumi said, don't be concerned about the stories of others, what everyone else is doing. No, unfold your own myth. Unfold your own myth. That's why you're here, to let your unique light shine in the world. But you're not of the world. You're in the world, but you're not of it. But the world is waiting on you to step out, to embody your presence. Your presence is divine. But again, not everyone's going to understand you. Not everyone's going to connect with you and resonate with you. That's fine. It's not supposed to be that way. Trust me. It is not supposed to be that way. You keep doing what you do. You follow your intuitive heart. You let your light shine. You follow your bliss. And as Joseph Campbell said, the universe will open up doors for you where there were only walls. And the people that are supposed to be in your life will come into your life. Because when you're following your bliss, you become more magnetic. Am I saying that right? Yeah. You become more magnetic. And yeah, there's just this attraction thing that happens. And then when you become more magnetic, you're repelling the things that are in your life that are maybe they're not supposed to be in your life. That's the whole thing with magnetism. You become more magnetic, you attract more, but you also repel more. So there's this divine alignment that's occurring in your life, in your path, in your journey. You know? So, what is that? So yeah, that's what this is. Be encouraged. Be at peace. Relax. You're doing much better than you think. Don't listen to the noise. Don't listen to everyone that's trying to box you in, trying to fence you in. They can't do it. They can't do it. But let them try. That's part of their own karmic predicaments and part of their own beliefs and part of their own subconscious stuff that they're refusing not to deal with and work on. And so they're projecting it onto you. But you're free, they're not. Leave it at that. Keep walking your path. Let your light shine. You got it. I believe in you. I trust you. Now you have to trust yourself. Okay? That's it for today. I'll see you next time. Thanks for watching.